Are you going to introduce us?
He's worried about his cell phone.
Are we not on air? What's your problem right now?
I don't want to introduce you.
Are you going to introduce us?
Oh,
That's you. That's not me. What's your problem right now? Oh, that is definitely me.
That is the loudest cell phone I've ever heard in my life.
That is definitely me.
so for those who don't know, the person who had his phone up loud since we weren't introduced, that would be Tom.
How you doing?
He's the one who doesn't have any bass in his voice. How you doing, Elijah?
I know.
I'm doing fairly well. How about
I
you?
gotta talk. I gotta talk with the inner voice.
For 116 episodes, Tom's like, my microphone has plenty of bass before we start.
You know,
and
it's
somebody
funny.
messes with it and turns the bass down.
So I can't sing, and we all know.
I just think you get a little hyper. You get a little hi, and
I can't sing, and I remember when I was in I just entered high school, and I tried out for chorus, and I didn't make it, and I tried the following year, and I didn't make it, and the chorus teacher was telling me that I need to sing from here,
The diaphragm.
right?
Yeah.
And I think when I do that, it's where
Yes.
my voice comes.
You're just yelling
deeper.
at this point.
yeah.
You said deeper. No, you're just yelling at someone.
Lord.
And that's been episode 116. I hope you enjoyed it.
If you can still hear.
And I want to welcome in Lisa. Say hi, Lisa.
Hiya, Betty.
She's not. She just waved. They can't see. Anyway.
You were introducing
Hiya,
Lisa.
Mom.
He was talking to him.
My mom's the only one watching us right now. I hate you when I do that.
Actually, no, there's more than just your mom.
That's true. It's us.
Hey,
I'm
so-
excited for today's show, man. So, man, you literally have been all over the country the last 2 weeks, brother.
And not in
Yeah,
church.
I've been. I mean, that was the excuse I was using, that I was traveling for work. But yeah. I did 7,800 miles in the last 2 weeks.
Was there a lot of sleeping in the truck or a lot of sleeping in hotels?
A lot of bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last time I spoke with you, we were taking the float from the Halloween parade back to your house,
Back to the shop. Yeah.
back to the shop, and you were telling me that depending, because you had like 397 stops that you were going to go to,
It's like 90, but yeah.
and there was a chance that if you found something at every spot, you would run out of room in your trailer, and you would have to rent a unit, put everything in there, and then continue your journey. Did that happen?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, let's talk about it.
I came back very illegally full.
You had stuff in the front with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Yeah, it was on the
passenger
bed.
seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they would have pulled you over to weigh your vehicle, it would have been a little heavy.
I would have broke the scale. Yeah.
Would have had to take out that meatless
Did
meatloaf.
you take those numbers off the side of your window?
No, but I did drive back at night. At night on a weekend, hoping all the scales would be closed, and they were. It worked out great. And for all they know, I was legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me happy because that means that it was a very, very successful trip for you.
I'm not giving you any money.
Okay.
That's true.
There goes that.
We'll just report his numbers next time he heads out.
Yeah.
I can do like that.
Is it still in the trailer, all the stuff? Or did you unload it already?
Wait, you were very curious about this thing.
I'm getting nervous.
It's in the warehouse with the security system and an armed guard and a
Sorry, with
dog.
all the stuttering you're doing, it sounded like you're lying. It's in the
And a dog?
And the guard dog that I
Yeah.
just hired.
Wow.
They're really cheap. It's like you give them a handful of meat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am curious because your job, your business intrigues me. What is the biggest piece of equipment that you got?
You mean this trip or
This trip.
Why are we doing this?
Because it's unscripted and it's the best type of radio.
It's really, it's clearly the biggest. Well, I
Did you buy a dinosaur?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I did. Yeah,
Nice.
I did.
That's all I wanted to hear.
I sell tools, so the biggest tool.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's not-
I got it.
You want me to talk
Before
about
you
the biggest tool?
Before you even, once you finish
Anyway.
that statement, I got it.
What?
Yeah. Let's get off that topic.
I have a question for you. Seriously, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Not just you, Elijah as well.
Okay.
What's with the third degree? Go ahead.
Do you guys think that there's a difference between a toenail clipper and a fingernail clipper?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you'd have my back on this.
No,
Fingernail clipper is
big
smaller,
difference.
toenail
Yep,
clipper is
big
bigger.
difference.
No, I'm
And
saying,
they work
I'm saying,
yeah, it's hard.
I'm
You can't-
saying you don't use the same one.
No,
can.
You can,
You
but it
can,
doesn't
but
do
it-
the job. It's definitely.
Yeah.
I actually just bought a new toe and fingernail clipper.
Because I went on the trip and I realized I forgot it, and I went to like a Walmart and I went in there and they had fingernail clippers and toenail clippers, and I was like, why would you need both?
You need both.
No, you just need the bigger one.
The toenail clipper is just for the
No.
pinky toe. I mean, the fingernail. So you need.
Like, I mean, I think it's as fine as a toenail clipper, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can use one for both, but you can't use.
You can't use the fingernail clipper on your toes.
Right.
That's really hard.
And I'm not sure
Did
why
you get the bigger one then?
I got the bigger one.
Yeah.
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 But there is a difference. So yeah.
But there is
Yeah.
a difference. I have used toenails on my fingers, but I'd rather use finger on finger and toes on toes.
I'm with you, Dave. So let's just keep it going. Let's not even acknowledge the fact.
I mean,
that
we're talking about ministry, not fetishes.
let's
so,
let's
like,
not even acknowledge that he's.
Hiya, I mean.
when I was in Seattle, I was really
How you doing?
I was in Seattle on a Sunday, and that's when the day I took off, and I was really excited because the Bills and the Jets were actually prime time out there, so I could watch it in a hotel. I was really surprised that two East Coast teams were on Sunday. But so how'd the Eagles do last night? I missed it.
Before you say it, you know what I'm happy about?
What's
you
that?
watching that game in the hotel room.
Why?
You didn't have remote access to rewind and fast forward.
It was awful. It was
You had
awful.
to deal with it.
It was awful. It was so bad. I wanted to back up so much stuff. I couldn't. But you know what was funny is I knew they were going to win. Just like you were just saying, you knew the Eagles were going to lose. We'll get into that. But I knew the Jets were going to win in that first drive because they gave up a huge pass play. Mm-hmm. And then they picked off Josh Allen like the very next play. And I was like, okay, this is a whole new team. This isn't same old Jets who, are going to get beat pillar to post.
Don't hurt him. You don't have to take your jacket off. It's okay.
He's starting to get me mad.
I understand.
I think Tom knew the Eagles were going to lose because that board meeting went really long last night.
No, all right. Well, we want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. The minute I saw they, one, couldn't stop the run, and two, they couldn't stop them on third downs, whether it was 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 20, I knew we were losing. That was my first quarter assessment.
I think Taylor Heineke is
A beverage, yes.
The greatest quarterback ever.
I can tell you first of all, I love the story. I love the fact that he's going to have at least a backup job his whole life because he proved that he could do it. He was
Like 19,
He was like
right?
Kurt Warner. He was sleeping on his sister's couch.
then he got
Broke,
the
trying to
call.
figure out what to do next. He gets the call. That's awesome. That being said, I got to be honest. Last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, I was rooting for them. I don't really have a huge issue with the Eagles. Last night, I was rooting very, very hard against them. So I apologize about that, but I really don't.
No, that's fine. What I find disturbing is how I do not like Dallas. I just don't, and that's a fact. Like, I don't like Dallas. A lot of Eagles fans don't like Dallas.
Yeah, I don't like Dallas.
We don't go around talking the way Dallas does.
No.
And when the Eagles lose, Dallas fans are so happy.
I just
so
noticed.
They rejoice.
I just noticed that Elijah says Dallas. It's not Dallas.
What is it?
You say Dallas.
Dallas? That's
It's
not.
got an A in it.
Dallas.
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 Do you say water or water?
That black liquid with your Chinese food that
Your
comes in a
water is
packet,
black?
What do you call it?
Soy.
What do you call it?
Soy sauce.
You just
Anyway,
Prove my point.
whatever. Yeah, you're saying Dallas. Anyway.
I missed the point.
You
He's
said
saying
soy.
he's
You
saying
said soy
that
sauce.
that Dallas fans revel in the Eagles losing more than the Eagles revel in Dallas losing.
Right.
And there's a reason for that.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a reason for that. I noticed that when I came to New York. When I moved from New York to Philadelphia area, and the Phillies fans were always talking about the Mets. And when I lived in New York, I never heard Mets fans talking about the Phillies because they're historically better.
you know what's
So,
even
I don't know.
crazier? You know what's even crazier?
There's a
Here in Philly,
Yeah,
we talk about Dallas,
good job.
but I hear everybody that I know that's gone to Dallas Dallas does not talk about us like that. It's only the Dallas fans that don't live in Dallas that revel in us.
I'm sorry, that's a weird segment of fan anyway.
It
because
is.
they don't have
should
most
move.
of them have never been to Texas.
And the problem
And
with
they
those,
walk around with the and I think they are contrarian by nature anyway, because they grew up either in New York, where the Giants are, or around this area where the Eagles are, and yet they chose to wear something that
Yeah,
the
but
other people don't like.
those fans that you speak of too, they're Dallas football fans, Sixer fans, Phillies fan, Flyers fan, Dallas fans.
But see, I have the answer to that. And I think you have to be a certain age to be a fan of any team that's not local. And here's the answer.
Okay.
When the NFL was televised, remember, you're old enough. I don't know if you are, but do you remember what a blackout is?
Yeah, that wasn't too.
All right, so blackouts were. Hold on. Blackouts were when if your team didn't sell out,
You don't watch the game.
you couldn't watch it on television.
What?
Yeah,
No, I'm not old enough for that.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you are.
When your team did.
When
you
was
might not
that?
have- this was, I want to say, still in the 80s.
I was
had
bo-
to still be.
I was born in '85.
It had to still be in the 80s into the 90s before the big TV deals and stuff came out.
Man, I'm old because
if
that
your
felt like it
team-
was yesterday.
If your team didn't sell out,
Yeah.
they didn't get televised.
I didn't know that.
So the
That's
teams,
crazy.
so the teams that always sold out were Dallas, were Pittsburgh, were the Raiders.
Oh, so
which is
instead
why
of watching the Eagles, you would watch the
because
Dallas.
you couldn't go to the game.
Wow.
So I feel like if you're a certain age, it's okay if you like a team that's not local because that's what you grew up watching.
Weird.
It's not okay.
But have you ever noticed that every team that's had Carson Wentz, as soon as they either bench Carson Wentz or he gets hurt because he tries to be like
You can't call him Carson Wentz. You have to call him what Lisa calls him.
Carson Rock Bottom Wentz,
Yes.
which she says is his selling point, that every time he goes to a team, he like, okay, it's not going to ever get as bad as when I play. So let me play a few games. We'll call that rock bottom, and then you can move on. And so I think a lot of teams, while they're rebuilding, they say, all right, I don't think we've hit rock bottom yet. Let's call Carson Wentz. Let's bring him in. Let's let him start a few games. Let him try to win the Super Bowl on every single play. Let him get absolutely destroyed when,
I think the game plan should be they show Carson Wentz, then they shows the equal sign, and they show Nick Foles holding up the MVP trophy. Super Bowl MVP trophy.
Or just show
Game
the
plan.
statue, just the statue that we have of him.
Yep.
That's even better.
I have a theory about Carson Wentz. I believe that one time when he was a child, he watched Brett Favre's highlight film, who I know he's about to get canceled, so whatever. We should get him in while we can now. I think Carson Wentz watched Brett Favre's highlight reel and said, I'm going to go do that, but I'm going to do it every game.
What, chew tobacco on the sideline?
No, just like 4 defenders, no problem. I get it in there. What
Gunslinger.
they don't show is Brett Favre's highlight reel where it took him like 17 interceptions and he got 1 completion throwing into that coverage. But
It's unbelievable how good he was that first year he was with us.
who?
That guy you speak of,
Carson Wentz or Brett Favre?
Carson Wentz.
Okay, because Brett Favre is too busy like robbing poor people in Mississippi right now.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I
That's,
heard about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, no, you know what? Actually, speaking of getting canceled, because Brett Favre will never be on anything ever again. I don't even think he'd be able to sell Copper Fit anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, he probably still can, because that's a scam anyway.
And maybe Skechers. No, he was a
Nah,
Wrangler
that's
jean
legit.
guy. He was a Wrangler jean guy.
Yeah. Oh, Brett Favre, and I like my Wranglers on my ranch where I rob poor people in Mississippi. I wear these Wranglers when I steal from the poor and
Then you
give
gotta-
to the rich.
Then you got to spit your chew out. There you go.
So, speaking of people getting canceled, did you see that Terry Bradshaw thing a couple weeks ago?
No,
Or last week. He said something to the effect of this running back doesn't get the ball. If he got the ball like 4 times in a row, he'd probably kill himself. And people got really upset because he said that. And I'm just like, listen, I don't like Terry Bradshaw. Every time he's on TV, it makes me want to go to the bathroom and not back it up when I get back. But like, I don't really care for Terry Bradshaw.
Wow.
I don't think he adds much to anything. But can we not dude's 70 something years old. He's been disconnected from regular people for like 50 years. Can we not give him a hard time for saying that he kicked a puppy?
I don't
Or,
think he kicked the puppy.
no.
I'm joking. He's
I'm
old
just saying,
school.
like,
He's old.
I'm not saying we should excuse it, but everybody's like, oh, you should fire him and this and that. He should listen, just come out, say you're sorry, and just say he's in his 70s. He's been old for a long time.
You know what? I pray that I get that over. I could just say stuff, just do stuff like, look, I'm old. Happy birthday, grandson. Oh, what's that? It's poop in the box. I'm old. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
That's what you strive to be when you're older.
When you get old, you get away with anything, man. You get away with anything. You do. You get away with anything. All right, I'm sorry.
There it is.
Sorry.
But
there it is.
No, it's just I'm just so tired of you have to walk this fine PC line. Listen, I'm not saying it's right. I had a couple friends who committed suicide. But the guy said something. He said something.
Yeah, man.
Just get over it.
It's the world.
I think he got suspended because that's why I don't think he was on the games last week. And it's come on,
It's
man.
hard.
It's
You can't say anything anymore.
yeah, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be considerate of people. We should be. We should be considerate of people. But come on, all he needs to say is,
He, like I said, he's
there's a difference
old
between
school.
what Kyrie Irving did and what, Terry Bradshaw said. But anyway,
I don't have a problem with Terry Bradshaw.
I have a problem with his ponytail. Do you think the Immaculate Reception happened? You don't know what I'm talking about.
Just like when we landed on the moon.
So the beard. Let's talk about your beard, your facial hair that you have now.
That's glued on, man.
because you literally look like a man now. Before you looked like a teenager.
Wow.
So yeah, that's been a point of.
Is that just because you were in a car for the last 2.5, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So you just decided to stop shaving?
Yeah, I got to the West Coast and I was like, oh, there's a beard there. I don't feel like shaving. We're gonna
Turned into a beach bum.
We're just gonna deal with this. The problem is when I got home. That's been a little bit of a subject the last couple of days.
Oh, really? What kind of subject?
Yeah, why
Do
don't you
speak
elaborate
it.
on that?
So here's the thing. Lisa loves it.
You don't.
I came home with it and I was planning on shaving. And she loves it. She's like, "Oh, you look so much better."
Wow.
And what I said is that means you don't like my face. And she's like, "No, I like your face. I just like it with the beard."
Thank you, Lisa, dropping
And
two
I was
bombs.
like, "But if I went into the bathroom and I got rid of the beard, when I came back out, you'd be disappointed."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "That means you don't like my face."
I got nothing. She was honest.
Yeah.
Way to be honest.
It feels like she wants to say something,
You should. You so should.
but
You so should.
she
Please.
it's like the quiet voice behind the...
Please. You so should.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the
Oh my
Vikings
gosh.
and
This
Bills
looks
game.
like Home Improvement
She
right
shook
now.
her head no the whole time that you were talking.
Look, it's like Home Improvement right now.
Yeah, it's just Wilson's eyes up above the computer screen. I did want to ask you, what was your favorite show when you were a kid? Because that was one of mine. I was thinking about that question last week.
Definitely.
Mork
one
and
of
Mindy.
them- What?
I never watched that.
I'm old.
You're really old.
Nanu. I will.
Home
honestly
Improvement
say-
Welcome back, Cotter.
I will.
Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Boy Meets World was good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine was Seinfeld
Yes.
growing up.
Never.
No, it
was
wasn't.
Seinfeld.
You were like 35.
Growing up.
You said growing up.
Grown man.
Yeah. When I was a child, my favorite show was.
The season finale of Seinfeld was about... I was like 22 when that happened.
It's like,
Yeah, that makes sense because I used to watch it when I was a kid with my dad.
oh man, I did like the the different world.
Remember Captain Planet?
Don't make me do it.
Do it, because I don't know who that is. Captain Planet.
Planet. He's our hero.
I forgot about this
Gonna
song.
take pollution down. Yeah, I know the whole. Yeah, I was saying. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, definitely Boy Meets World, but I also liked at the time, the Cosby Show, A Different World, all those spin-offs from the Cosby Show.
Fresh Prince was good.
Family Matters. Steve Urkel.
Tim the Tool
Yes.
Man
Yeah.
Taylor. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's Home Improvement. We were already there.
Yeah, we
No.
missed it.
Sorry,
It's cool.
I was too
Oh,
busy
he
looking up.
Googled pictures of Captain Planet.
I have
Dude, that's
never
so
seen
messed
this
up.
guy in my life.
Green
Seriously?
hair, right?
Yeah,
You
I've never,
you've
never,
never seen Captain Planet.
never have seen this
Do you
guy in
remember?
my life.
All right, you know what? Cartoons. Do you remember the Snorks?
Yes,
No.
I do. I do.
Snorks were basically Smurfs but underwater.
Yeah, they had the things up here. Yeah. Do you remember Short Tails?
DuckTales?
Shark Tales.
Short Tails.
No.
Is it biography?
It's not even coming up
He
on
just,
the internet.
he just Googled it and it didn't come up. Even the internet doesn't remember this.
These guys.
DuckTales was good. And what was the spin-off of DuckTales?
Tailspin.
Tailspin, actually.
These guys.
Yeah.
DuckTales. Well, actually, it was.
Oh, it's shirt. That's why.
Yeah, it was DuckTales because that was Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You don't know Captain Planet? Tell him, Amin.
I don't know, man. I'm older than you.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Shane said nobody likes Seinfeld. Everybody was guilted into watching it like Lost.
A show about nothing.
I never watched
That
Lost.
lasted. How many? Lost? Yeah, I'm sorry. I did like Lost.
Yeah, I never watched Lost. I
Sorry,
heard it was
Shane.
good. I never
I did
watched
like
it.
Lost.
I think Seinfeld was a very particular city humor. I don't think it was necessarily New York, but I think you had to live in the city and sort of have that whole like ambivalence towards the rest of the human race to enjoy the humor that they came up with of just like that's what Larry David's humor is very, very like, you know, we live in a city and we hate everybody.
You know who a lot of people are surprised that I found funny? Frasier.
Why? Because he's like really white.
Because he's really dry,
Yeah.
and that's the same type of humor
I
like
wa-
my dad had.
Yeah,
and I
you-
actually like that.
I used to watch it. It was.
Yeah.
It was. It had his moments.
Yeah, it did. It did. It was okay.
All right, crap on my show. It's cool.
No, I mean it was funny. It was okay. We watched it regularly. It just like I think it was more like my brother liked Frasier.
Look, Sean says Snorks.
But
Oh, the Munchichis. Yo, I do
I,
remember that.
I never heard of those either. You
They're like
guys-
little monkeys. Oh, the Munchichis.
Shane, how old are you? 20 seconds later, he'll answer.
oh, I thought you were gonna say he was 20.
No.
The
I think
Shane-
he's slightly older than 20.
Damn.
But the oh, what were we just talking about?
Wow, the Munchichis.
I don't know what that is.
I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm trying to think. I think Boy Meets World was the best one. What was that other one where they had the they showed a roller coaster in the intro? That was like the when they were doing the song.
Step by Step.
Step by Step. My brother liked that one too.
I mean, I was also a Full House fan too.
Yep. Who's your favorite person on Full House though?
I want to say not Uncle Jesse, but the other one,
Uncle Curly Hair?
Joey.
Different
Yeah.
era. How about the,
The
Jeffersons?
comedian. Yeah, I watched the Jeffersons.
Jeffersons was good.
So
That
was
was
our-
way before your time.
I like
was Archie
Danny
Bunker.
Tanner because he was so pure and innocent.
The character.
No, the actor is like
The character. The character
the
was
first time
so wholesome.
the first time you listen to Bob Saget do stand-up comedy, you're like, "Oh, that's not Danny Tanner.
You talk to your kids with that mouth? What?
That's not Danny Tanner."
Yo.
Oh, anyways,
Wow. Tom, yeah, you did watch Gumby and Pokey. That's your time. Gumby and Pokey. Is
I don't
your
even know what Gumby and Pokey is.
time. Are you?
Yeah. And Dungeons and Dragons is just horrible.
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was a bad show. I don't know who Gumby and Pokey is. No. I feel like I need to be Googling all these things. I wasn't much
Lisa,
of,
you know who Gumby is, right?
I honestly, I grew up in the generation we were always outside playing all day.
Time out. You watch Saturday Night Live?
Nah.
yep.
Didn't watch Saturday Night Live either.
You got to see Eddie Murphy do Gumby.
You know what he's talking about?
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was pretending like I did, but I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
what he's talking about.
I don't
Oh
know.
man, you just watch it on your own time. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Saturday Night Live was I was way in bed before that.
All right, before we get to the topic and we talk about Jesus and stuff, I want to talk about the worst people in the world.
Jesus and stuff. Okay.
You know who I've decided are the worst people, the worst humans in the face of the planet?
Do tell.
When you're at a store, any store, and you're driving in the parking lot, and they cross in front of you. You know, like
Like, they have all the
pedestrians.
time in the world.
Pedestrians who cross in front of you. You can always tell how somebody is if, like, they move along, whatever. The people who look up and see you, and then they walk in an indirect route.
That takes longer for them to get out from in front of you.
Right, because like say the door is at a diagonal from them. Instead of walking straight across and making an L, like walking across and then walking straight up to the door, they just take a diagonal route from their spot in the parking lot to the door. So it takes them longer to get in front of you, so you have to wait for them longer. Worst people in the world.
I guess you had some bad experiences with that.
No. You know who the worst people in the world are besides that? The worst people in the world are the people who drive through parking lots as if they're speedways.
I haven't run into that one.
You haven't run into anybody driving through a parking lot fast.
Occasionally, like late at night, you will see somebody, and they cut through, like they cut over the
I'm
empty
not even mad
parking
about
spots.
the cut through.
Yeah.
It's just like the busy part of the parking lot. People are like speeding through.
Yeah, I
and
haven't
it's
noticed
like,
that too much.
Every time I'm there, or I'm just a grouch. I don't know.
You might just be a grouch.
It's possible. I've been told. I don't care though.
No, I had a lady do that. She walked in front of the car at an angle as slow as she possibly could while she was on her cell phone.
And you patiently prayed for her?
No, see, my truck was doing a weird thing of like if I just held on the brake pedal just a little tiny
It's
bit,
still inched up.
it would squeal really loud, and so I just let off the brake a little bit so it would roll and squeal really really loud
So
while she was on the phone, and she looked up at me like this disgusted look.
Clever.
I was just waiting for you, lady.
Proud of you. Very, very
you.
proud of you.
Appreciate it.
Proud of
Very
you.
proud of you.
You've
Appreciate
grown up, man. You've grown
Appreciate
up.
that.
That's good. It's good.
Oh, we got totally off track. We're talking about the Eagles. Whatever, they lost. Every team comes up against a better team every now and then. How? And they last night Washington came up against a better team, but they found a way to win. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Anyway, I happen to know for a fact that Elijah is very, very particular about certain things relating to watching the game.
And I didn't do them yesterday.
Okay, so that's what I was going to mention. Like, when you come up against a loss like this, do you change your habits?
I can.
I know.
I can now buy KJ an Eagles jersey. I can now buy myself something Eagles if I wanted to. I've been dying to get a new lanyard or.
So you weren't buying anything because they were winning?
So it's funny topic is I actually found out today at my grandson's basketball practice why the Eagles lost that game.
Because I don't wear Eagles t-shirts.
So my grandson's coach.
Oh, was it because they didn't have the highest score at the end of the
growing
game?
his beard out the whole time, and he shaved his beard right before the game.
No.
I'm like, dude, are you kidding me right
It's
now?
him. It's him.
Yeah, it's him.
It's him.
It's
Wow.
him. He
I
shaved
just-
it right before the game.
I thought it was because they didn't have as many points at the end, but that must be
No,
why they
no,
lost.
that's not how it goes.
Okay, so
You live in fantasy land.
I have noticed that every time I wear Jets jersey or something during a Jets game, they lose. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm as superstitious as you guys, but
You're
I
part
did
of the
notice
club.
that.
Doesn't
But-
matter how subtle it is.
I'll tell you what.
But how do you watch a game? Do you watch a game sitting down when they're winning? Do you stand up? Do you do the thing that you were always doing when they scored last?
If I'm watching a game and I have my hat on frontwards and they're forward and they're winning,
Right.
cool. The minute they start losing, I turn it around.
But even though they were winning with it forward, but when they stop,
when they
you
stop
have to
looking
change the
good,
look.
I change the look.
What if they look worse?
Then I'll take the hat off.
Oh, okay.
You, my friend,
Yeah.
are actually preaching at the perfect time of the year.
Oh, because the Jets are going to go on a run to
Yeah,
through the playoffs.
right through the playoffs, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, let's get that done.
let's do it.
Because Tom said the last time I preached was the last time the Jets lost until the last time they lost. Anyway, I preached and they went on like a 5-game winning
Yeah,
streak or
yeah.
something like that.
He mentioned them in his sermon, and then bam.
But if it's okay, so you're sitting on the couch, regardless, hat, no hat, whatever, watching the game. They're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get up and go to the bathroom?
When they're not on, yes.
But you can't. Okay, so I know people who, if the team is winning, regardless of commercial or not, they will sit in the same spot.
No,
You're not that guy.
no.
Okay.
I'll get up during because that pizza that you guys had ordered when you wanted the pepperoni. During the break, I got up and got a slice of pizza.
Okay.
During the commercial, as you were doing your with the remote thingy.
Yeah.
You know,
Using the
Wyatt
force.
Earp with the
Gunslinger.
yeah.
I was doing the Carson Wentz.
Yo,
The Carson Wentz, the remote control. I try to win on every play.
you're not like that with your games, though, right? Like you can
Oh, I could care
pause
less.
and get up and come
Well,
back and-
the day you came over,
Yeah.
I paused it and left town. Like I went to another town to
yeah.
help somebody and came back.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I mean, as much as I said about the jersey thing, like it has nothing. Like I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not there. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
They've won when I was in the room or when I wasn't in the room.
yeah.
It has everything to do with you and your spirit and how you cheer for your team.
Oh, so the reason I wanted the Eagles to lose was I was getting really tired of all the Eagles fans. Undefeated, last one left. I'm like, I'm rooting for them to
I'm
lose.
not that fan though.
No, I wouldn't say you.
I know.
I mean, honestly, I mean
Those-
what I actually mean is, and you know, I say it all the time, is the fake Eagles fans. You're a real Eagles fan.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about the fake ones who are like the Eagles are good, and oh yeah, they wave the pom poms, and if they're bad, they don't even know it's football
I
season.
don't like the fans. Like I like Eagles fans. I love when they're diehard. I don't like the fans that.
Did Shane ever tell you how old he was?
Yeah, he's
assume
49. He's older than I am.
That automatically assume this is where we're going.
Yeah,
Everything is one day at a time.
right,
Everything. One day at a time. One game at a time.
right.
One at a time. Get through this day to get to the next. Don't wish to jump ahead because everything in the middle you're going to miss.
That's deep.
Enjoy the ride.
Right.
Take it. I can't stand
Some of
it.
them.
I mean, listen, and it's interesting that you're talking about enjoying the ride because in essence, that's what God wants us to do, right?
What?
The book of Mark 16, verse 15 says, and then he told them, go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone, you know? And what I find exciting about that is that in essence, we are all called to do ministry. Right? Every single person is called to do ministry. It's just that certain people are called to be in ministry. And there's a difference about that. But before we get into all that, I had the pleasure and it was just a great time. Me and my wife went to Mac Weekend. Shane, did you go to Mac Weekend?
Is that like the Mac tool trucks driving around?
That's what I thought it was going to be, but it apparently is this ministry assessment center.
Oh, so they assess if you're like good at ministry.
So the cool thing about it is that it almost got portrayed as this is a place where you go to, and they kind of want to make sure that you do have a calling into ministry.
Okay.
And that is 100% wrong. That's not what it is at all. It's not about them questioning your call. It's not about them saying, well, maybe you're not called to ministry. It's first of all, it's a celebration that you have been called to ministry. But the main thing of Mac Weekend is they assess your strengths and your weaknesses.
What do they say your
so they
weaknesses
can
are?
assess you to give you the right tools to be able to further your ministry. And it's interesting because
What did they say your weaknesses are?
I'm going to get to that, Dave, but I want to finish what I'm saying first.
Reese's Pieces?
No,
M&Ms?
I was able to hide those. I got Kit Kats now.
That's a king size Kit Kat.
King size
That's
Kit
like
Kat.
a billboard. It's like
Yes.
you're holding up a billboard.
That's right. Haven't even opened it though. That's the power. Right
Yeah.
there.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Literally. Pun intended. Give me a break.
Hang on a second. He hasn't opened. He hasn't opened that one yet. What about the other one that you had?
Didn't have another one.
Uh-huh.
Didn't have it. But
It wasn't
While
a
we're
Kit Kat.
talking about it, I do have a confession to make to Elijah.
You don't have to. 'Cause
I ended up eating all the Twix.
you don't have to because I knew.
The left
You didn't
ones
have
or
to-
the
you
right
didn't have to
ones?
make a confession.
So they were just little mini ones. So I didn't really know if they were left and right. They just like.
But I knew
Popped
that was
in.
going to happen. So before I left last night, I took like 2.
Twix?
Yes.
Yeah. The Twix were the ones that I ate today.
Why would you say like two?
Because I'm not sure if I took 2 or 3, and I don't want to lie.
You don't know if you
I
took
don't.
2 or 3?
I think it was 2.
I think you took 3.
I think it was 2. I don't want to
If it was
lie.
like 2, I think you'd know if it was 2.
It was 2-ish.
Did it look like a pair of Twix, like a left and a right?
2 left.
2 left.
Way Tom dances. 2 left feet.
I have a little bit of rhythm. Do a dance show
Yeah,
sometime.
the music.
But it was interesting because there was 12 candidates there with their spouses. So 24 people. Well, there were some single people, so not 24. And me and my wife were the only
Claire?
ones. Yeah, me and my wife Claire Rivera. We were the only one that was separated from each other for every single thing that they did. For the one-on-ones, for the group sessions, we were separated because we were both there as candidates. So they had to separate us. But the interesting part is,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they had. We're the only couple that got separated. But the interesting part is at the end they give you the assessment, right?
She seemed like she was happier?
Pastor Kerry Willis told Pastor Owen, "You can do them both at the same time." And it was interesting though because we got the exact same assessment, even though we're separate. So we got
Who-
strengths on everything.
Who did
and-
better? Claire did better?
No, we got the exact same scoring.
You cheated?
So our and it wasn't even it was so you can either get an S for strength, a G for good, but there still needs a little bit of work, or an N for needs work, right? So me and my wife got all S's
Claire.
and 2 G's. The 2 G's were theology because we are new to the Nazarene, and the other one was we.
I'm sorry, what was
we,
G
we got
again?
a good,
Good. Okay.
and then this N needs work.
Okay.
And the other one was we gotta figure out a way to take a Sabbath and rest.
They
They
told
don't
you
like
that? They told you that?
they yeah they told me the same thing the board's saying. They're like,
You know why? Because they probably saw you like a year ago before you were tasked to be in charge of a church, and they didn't recognize you when they saw you this time. Because honestly, dude, you're aging like a president. Like you look like Barack Obama after the first term.
Yeah. It's been
You look like you were 25. Like
it's been a
6
rough
months ago.
2.5 months.
You look like you were 25, and now it looks like you have the missile launch codes and you know all the secrets. Like you're just
Protect the football.
you're just walking around handcuffed
It's not only
to
the
the
Philly
briefcase.
district that does Mac, but there are some districts that don't do it. But the other districts do it. But it's interesting because it wasn't even during the assessment. We were sitting for dinner, and Pastor Owen sat next to me, and he looked at me. He goes, "So Tom, when was the last time that you had a day off, or you know?" And I was like, "Well, Thursdays are my day off, but I do my house visits and hospital visits and stuff." And so yeah, it was those things. It was theology because we're new to the Nazarene,
Right.
and we got to figure out a way to. They want me to spend more time with my wife and family,
Right.
and not so much time in ministry. So those were my 2 goods that I could improve on.
That makes sense.
It does.
No,
It does.
seriously, it makes sense. I like to make a joke, but obviously it makes sense. I think. What have you thought about starting a mega church?
So
Like if you did that, I feel like you could probably, if you maybe in Mississippi, hook up with Brett Favre, start a mega church, and like you probably don't have to do too much, and just like get people to give money.
You'll get the funding.
Yeah, I mean Brett Favre's got to hook
yeah, so my wife and I are in the process of beginning a mega church.
up. Okay.
For so we can have
just need the
so-
people.
so we can split it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, why don't you
so-
split first?
Almost.
If you split first, then you could start 2 mega churches.
I already got the hook up.
Oh man. And the split has to do with, and we talked about this on one of our shows.
The music.
Well, the music was a big topic at Mac Weekend.
Okay.
No, the
I feel like the music hasn't been like an issue for a while. Now we got music's being an issue again.
Well, there's still the generation that's been in the church for a long time that likes their hymns, and then there's the new generation that's coming
likes
in
them
that
hers.
likes the faster paced music. So you got to figure out a way to balance those two.
Elijah's
But the split between the churches of me and my wife is the whole Christmas thing. Remember?
right.
Yeah, it was the Christmas
You're
thing.
gonna have
Yeah.
one church that starts
one church starts
Christmas-
Christmas November 1st,
Yeah.
and there's another church that starts Christmas on Black Friday.
Yeah. But then they got to be even after Christmas. They need to be mad about it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's
for the
got to
whole
be
year.
stuff
I'm
going
pro
on.
Claire, so
But no, it was cool, man, because it's all about equipping you with the right tools, and it was fun. Me and my wife were very involved in the district, so we were just literally hanging out with our friends there.
That's cool.
Literally hanging out with our friends.
Sounds like a racket.
But it was a lot of love, a lot of affirmation about the call. And so I started, I knew we were going to talk about the call today, and I started to do some research on the call, and the one verse, 2 verses that really came out to me, and it's 2 of my favorites. is found in Proverbs 31, 8-9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. In
You're talking
short-
about call into ministry, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's call.
Everybody is called to ministry. Everybody. Every single person is called to ministry, but only certain people are called into the ministry. Right? The main difference is that when you're called into the ministry, you're usually involved with a church or a nonprofit or missions and things like that. But Proverbs 31, 8-9, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless and see that they get justice, right? And that you don't have to be called to the ministry. And there's a couple ways that you get
That
called.
sounds pretty liberal, what you just said. I don't think I agree with that. Was that from the Bible?
It's this book that I found. It's called Proverbs.
Yeah. It says, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Speak up for the poor and the helpless.
You know what? From your the way you read it, you sound like it's saying be a vigilante.
No, it just says,
Look how he's looking. He's like,
It says-
for the justice and the.
it says, speak up for the poor and the helpless.
You're
That sounds
Batman.
really liberal. I'm just saying.
No,
I don't know that I'm okay with that.
I think no. You can say you don't think you're okay with that, but you have that in you.
Well, Jesus is very conservative.
Go ahead, Tom, please.
He definitely has that in him.
He does. He
Yeah,
does. So
yeah.
it's-
Yeah, he's one of the biggest servants that I've ever met. So yeah, he definitely has that in him. But that's cool, man.
What, Jesus? Jesus only worked.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay. Just saying. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Apparently, you're getting off track. So
I'm not.
Why don't you get back on track, Tom?
I am.
You've been derailed.
Traction on track.
It's rock bottom.
Nice. That's a good segue to the plug.
I'm like Carson Wentz. The podcast has never been worse when I'm on.
Man, you got hats and T-shirts for your business?
I don't have hats. I've been in business for 10 years. I've never had a hat. I want a hat. I should get hats.
You don't wear hats.
I don't wear hats. I own a lot of hats. I don't wear any of them. But I would bend the brim because I'm
Yeah. I'm a brim. I can't do that.
an old white.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't bend it. I just no. Okay, all right. I thought he was gonna bend it. I was like,
There you
can't.
I have hats that the brim is bent.
Anyway,
Go Flyers.
all right.
Are they doing good?
No.
Oh, okay. So doing some research into getting called in the ministry, and I'm kind of curious to see how Shane got called into the ministry. But I came up with 5 major ways that you get called into ministry, right? And one is called the Damascus Road. You know that story about when Paul got his calling. He used to be a killer of Christians, and he was
Right.
on the road. A bright light came, it blinded him, and he got his call there, right? And how that relates to us is some people get their call through a type of miracle, right? They might have had like a bad car accident, survived it, and then they're like, boom,
Like a near-death
I wanna be
experience.
a near-death experience. So something similar like that is one of the ways that people get the calls. The other way is the progressive call, and this one's interesting because as I was reading through the progressive call, I was thinking about somebody in particular that's on this podcast right now. So the progressive call is someone that grows up in the church, right? Is involved with church, and then he starts getting involved with the church. He starts doing some leadership in the church,
Or she.
right? And or she or he. Are we allowed to say those?
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Good. Because it's, the second you tell me we're not, I'm off the show. I am off the show.
You're gonna be canceled like Bradshaw.
and I would like to have a show on that someday too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
Because don't get me started on that.
I mean,
But,
Elijah was feeding his children earlier, so we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing. But
It'd be a whole different topic.
So the progressive call is interesting because it's something that you kind of, you've been in the church your whole time and you kind of go into. But the drawback with the progressive call, there was a line here that I'm going to read. It says, since the progressive call takes a long time to unfold,
Yeah.
it can be easy to slip into doubting your call and questioning if this is truly what you're supposed to do with your life. And
So because you didn't have a Damascus Road experience, you didn't have a car accident,
Right.
there was no like loud voice that was screaming in your
Yeah,
head. You go,
yeah.
well, maybe when the going gets tough, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do.
yeah, and I don't know why Sean Conroy. Yep, Elijah. Right, Sean, you're right. And so
Your phone's ringing, Elijah. You're being called.
it's
What did I do?
because when I started talking about the progressive call, I believe that's when Sean wrote Elijah on here. And I asked Elijah. He basically grew up in the church. He's got a lot of people in his family that are deacons, preachers, and you name it. But he doesn't know. He's doubting it because of he's just been in it for so long. And then the third one that I came up with is the call from birth. This one's interesting. I personally haven't really met anybody in my personal life that got their call from birth, but the Bible does talk about people that got their call from birth. You got John the Baptist was called right from birth. You also have the prophet Jeremiah.
Jesus.
They got called. Jesus is the greatest one that we can think of. And the prophet Samuel was devoted to serving the Lord before he was born by his mother.
Right.
So there's some people that and how does that relate to this day and age? These are the people that they're currently in ministry, and when you talk to them and they say, "When did you get your call?" They're like, "Man, I don't even know. I literally have been in my call my whole life. I don't know the exact moment, but I've just been in ministry my whole life. I've been trying to help and lead when I was younger and just, so that's the call from birth. And then there's the set apart by the church call, right? A lot of times in my sermons and when I talk to people, for me, I believe that the way the Lord speaks to me is through other people. I really believe that when God's trying to tell me something, he uses other people to tell me. And so the set apart by the church call is when you have your pastor or you have a leader come up to you and say, "Hey, you know what? I think you would be a good leader in this ministry right here. I think you'll do very well in this ministry right here. I think you'll do good in this over here," right? And it's something that you probably never thought of, but if somebody comes up to you, especially a leader of the church, and starts talking to you about it, a lot of times that would transform into a call. And then the fifth one is the open door call, right? And this is kind of my story, the latter half of my life, because I did have a calling when I was little, and then you guys know my testimony. But the open door call is just kind of like it's similar to the Damascus call, but it's kind of like it just you're in the church and stuff, and it just comes from nowhere. It's not a life event where you have an accident or anything. It's just you're sitting there, you're minding your own business, and then you hear a voice or you get a thought, and you're like, "Wait a minute. I think I'm supposed to be in ministry," And I remember when I got this call, because the first person I called after I got that was Sean Conroy, and I said, "Sean, I got the call. I got to, I'm meant to preach. I'm meant to do something. I want to get involved with school. What do I do?" And he's the one that walked me through Nazarene Bible College.
So maybe Elijah sent it to voicemail. Check your voicemail. Elijah, just check your voicemail.
Are you saying I'm neglecting the call? Do you feel like I'm neglecting the call?
I feel like you are neglecting a call and doubting it. Yeah, and I'm not saying you necessarily have to be a preacher. Right, but I do believe, especially with your background and the way you're hungry for it.
Maybe you could run like a basketball ministry or something.
Yeah, you're definitely called in to ministry.
I believe that.
No, he was canceled too.
You really will be off the show. You want to be thinking that too.
Although he's not doing anything, maybe we could get him in as a guest.
Oh man, he's never mind. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. All right, so we can talk about that. Do I feel like I had this conversation, believe it or not, with Elijah? I said, "Son," because I didn't know there was a difference. Like, I thought being called to ministry meant preaching. And I'm like, you know what? I don't see myself doing that. But the crazy part is the more and more I hear it, the more and more I don't want to say toy with it because there's nothing to toy with, but the more and more I hear it, the more and more I kind of visualize it being so. But I was talking to Elijah, and he was like, I said, what do you think would be a good role for me in the church? What do you think would be a good role for me in the church? I'm reading Sean's comment. I don't. You know what? I think I have like 37 unanswered voicemails, so you could be right.
Just keep saying
But
it's like
I feel
36 of them are political calls from last week.
Yeah. Oh, I am so glad that's over with.
Yeah.
But he said you would be a good outreach person,
Yeah.
meaning not in the building but going out to serve is what
just real
my son
quick,
said.
there's in the Church of the Nazarene, there's two different types of ordination. There's an elder track and there's a deacon track. The difference between the two ordinations is the elder track is called, your main purpose is to preach, to be a lead pastor. The other one is more of a servant, a teacher type role. So you know, if I was your lead pastor, which I'm not, I would say you're probably more in the deacon route than you are in the elder route.
You're basically doing what you're doing now, but with a little bit of training, I think.
Yeah.
And what you just did for me was open my eyes to a particular route, because I did not know we had a deacon route here.
There's a deacon route. Yep.
I didn't know that.
And
Shame on me.
And it's interesting because you said outreach now, and I'm really close.
This is my 14-year-old son that said that. I feel like that's where I belong.
Yeah.
But my son said that I think that's where you would be good at.
Yeah. And I'm not saying there's these are just 5 ways that I didn't come up with. I researched it. There's other ways of getting called, but you know, and I had a small devotional at our board meeting last night, and the word that keeps coming up to me is obedience. Obedience. And it's interesting because the research that I did, the very last sentence on it says, at the end of the day, the most important factor in receiving a call from God is obedience, right? It's just being obedient to the word. I'm in becoming a holy people right now, and holiness to me starts with being obedient to the word. Shane, I know you can't do it via message, but I would love to hear your story sometime on your calling. I think it's cool to hear people's story on how they got called, because what I've learned to realize is that everybody that I've talked to, including my brother Sean Conroy, everybody that I talk to, their calling is a little different. Everybody gets called a little differently, but the main thing is to be obedient to it. You know, that's really all that I have to say on that topic right there. But God is good.
But
God is good.
To be a deacon in the Nazarene church, you still have to hold a district license.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still hold a district license, and you still go through a nation.
So that means all the schooling that you guys do, a deacon has to do?
Less, but yes. It's not as much as the elder route. It actually, honestly, it's 2 classes less. That's the difference. It's 2 classes less. Yeah. I mean, to get ordained and to get a district license is not something, you know, you gotta, education is a big factor in all that, because they want to make sure that, you know.
Is it like real education, or can you like slip somebody some cash and get a grade?
I don't know. I've often wondered that, though.
I mean, that's as
Because
far as
it
I
would
made
just
it in
be
school.
so much easier.
Yes, I mean,
know?
okay.
But then that's as far as you made it in school?
Is when I stopped being able to bribe the professors. It's when I started failing classes.
It makes me think of those movies where the kids pay somebody else to do their homework and they hand it in.
That would be funny, though, if you're in Bible school and you just walk up to the teacher and just try to slip him a 20. You're like, yeah. So do I actually have to come to this?
Yeah.
He just like put some money in his hand. He's like, yes.
I would have
Yes,
to
you do.
Venmo mine because ours is all online. So like my professor will email me, I got a Venmo from you for $50. What's that for? Well,
For that test.
I dropped it.
I dropped it.
What?
Yeah.
You what?
It was an accident. I was just thinking about how hard that test was, and you should try that. You should try that.
I believe that I will get kicked out
You really shouldn't try
of my yeah.
Maybe you would, maybe you won't. You never know until you try.
Dave, you are not being a very good influence right now.
No, well, I haven't been called to be a good influence. So
Wow.
that was the thing. I'm the
Okay. All right. I understand. JETS.
What did you say that Shane said? Yes, Dave.
I think he said, when I said, "Do you think the Jets are going to beat the Patriots?" He said yes.
I don't believe that.
The
But
13 straight losses we got. Think we're going to keep the streak going? I don't think so.
yeah, with a different kind of streak.
Hey, not every organization can have a butt fumble. All right?
So if you have any prayer requests that you would like us to pray for, I believe our brother Elijah is going to do the portion of prayer in place of our brother Sean tonight.
That was your job.
That was your job. The job.
You want me to pray?
Could you, Dave, please? Are you being called to
You
pray
got-
right now?
I'm
Thank
being
you
called
so
to pray.
much.
You guys have
See? He answered his call.
He's being obedient to God's word.
Amen, brother.
Leading by example right here. I love it. I love it.
I actually just have dinner plans. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time to be together. It's that we miss our brother Sean, and we want you to be with him. And he's got a lot going on, but we miss him. We want to get him back. But God, just thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for letting us talk about your word. I know there's a lot of prayer requests out there. A lot of people have different things going on. Life gets busy. Life gets hard. And everything's complicated. Everybody has things that they need you to intercede for. God, would you just step in and just lead your people? Would you heal the sick?
Yeah.
Would you mend the broken? Would you help us to be better leaders and better understand your call?
Yeah.
God, we love you. Thank you for once again for just another week to be able to be here, just being goofy, hanging out, and talking about you, shining a little bit of light. God, just get us through another week, day by day, morning to morning. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
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 Next week, topic, tofurkey.
Tofurkey. We're gonna have some tofurkey. Yeah, we're doing Thanksgiving next week.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to buy me a turkey hat. I haven't got it this year yet. You better be ordering that on Amazon.
So, yeah. Make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you like us. Share this with somebody.
I was about to say that.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
going to say thanks for listening. Make sure you like us and share and
Let them know where they can listen to us at.
All the different places.
you can listen to us on your couch. You can listen to us in your house. You can listen to us in your car. You can listen to us by a far. No, you can
You can listen to us in a bar.
listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Podcast Addict. Are we on Apple?
Yes.
Yeah, Apple as well. Check all the streaming platforms. Like us, share us, love us, and if you don't love us, learn to love us because we love you all. Peace.
Boom, boom, pop, boom, boom.
Enjoy this independent music from Tracks on Tracks
Tracks on
Production.
tracks, tracks on tracks, tracks on tracks. Bada bing, bada boom, boom.